Has this ever happened to you? You're on a date at this super fancy restaurant when the pretentious hipster waiter hands you a menu and you look down and it's printed in microscopic font. You're thinking to yourself, there's no way I can read this. So you reach inside of your pockets hoping for your reading glasses, but of course you left those at home. Maybe you've got a magnifying glass stuck somewhere in one of those pockets, but who do you think you are, Sherlock Holmes? Finally, you grab the one tool you've got with you all the time, your trusty iPhone, and you turn on your flashlight, pointing it on the menu, hoping it'll help, but you still can't read it. If that sounds like you, it's time you learned how to use the iPhone Magnifier app. This is a powerful tool that's already on your phone. Stick around, I got you covered. I'm Dylan Stewart, the MacWhisperer, and in today's video, I'm going to explore one of the most useful and yet least used apps on your iPhone, the Magnifier app. Make sure to stick around for my MacWhisperer power tip because I'm going to reveal a hidden magnifier feature that changes everything. If you'd like to follow along with this lesson, hop over to the description and download your free smart guide. Our smart guides give you clear, simple, step-by-step directions with pictures of everything we're going to talk about in this lesson, and it makes sure that you'll be able to leave this lesson knowing everything about the Magnifier app. Now, let's hop on over to the phone and get started. Our first job is to locate the Magnifier app. It could be on any one of your separate pages, but in most cases, it's stuck in a folder of utilities that you've long since forgotten. No worries, you can search on your iPhone by tugging down from the middle of the screen like this. From here, type MAG and the magnifier will show right up. Now, press and hold on the magnifier and drag it and put it right into position on your home screen. But that's not the only way you can get to the magnifier. Most people don't ever use the app. Most people put it inside of their control panel. You can access your control panel by pulling down from the upper right-hand corner like this. When you do, you'll see a ton of tools. If you don't see the Magnifier app, press and hold on the bottom of your screen until you enter edit mode and click where it says Add a Control. From here, type in MAG and you'll see the magnifier right there. Click on it and it will be added to your control panel. You can even resize it to make it easy for you to get to. Once you've done that, you've now got easy access to the Magnifier app, either from your home screen or from your control panel. Once we're done with this lesson, you may be using the magnifier all the time. If that's the case, you might want to hop over to your Settings app and come down to the Action button option and change your Action button to the magnifier. But that's only necessary if you're going to be using the magnifier all the time. Otherwise, the best way to access it is right here from your control panel. One simple click and you're right inside the app. When you first open it up, you're going to see a bunch of tools right in front of you. You've got a slider that can allow you to zoom in or zoom out of whatever you're looking at. Keep in mind you can also use your fingers to pinch and spread on the screen to do the exact same thing. To the right of that, we've got our flashlight. This is really helpful if you're in a dark restaurant or there's just not enough light to see what you're looking at. Pressing that will turn on the flashlight, making it even easier for you to see with the magnifier. And down below that, you'll see an option called Capture. The Capture option is really the most important tool of the Magnifier app. When you tap on the Capture button, just like this, it will take a photo of whatever the phone is looking at. This is really helpful, but the best part about it is it doesn't add that photo to your camera roll. So 5 years from now, you won't stumble across that menu when you're looking at pictures and ask yourself, why did I take that photo? Once you've captured the image, you can explore the image at will, pulling it up to any size you want to read any part of the menu or the document. This is really the ideal way to use the Magnifier app because rather than holding your phone over the menu and moving it around and trying to see things, you've captured it and you can move around the menu at will. Once you've seen whatever you're looking at, you can tap on the screen and your controls will come back up, allowing you to release the capture in case you want to take a picture of something else. These are the easiest, most basic tools of the magnifier, and for most people, they're all you need. But you're not the average user, and Neither am I. So let's kick it up a notch and let's learn about the hidden toolbar and the advanced features. Even if all the magnifier did was zoom in on things and take pictures and let you use your flashlight, it would be a great tool. But it's got a ton of extra features that are built into it. The first thing we need to do is expand this menu. As we look at this menu, we can see that it's got 2 rows. But if I tug upwards on this bar here, suddenly there's a hidden 3rd row. And some of the best features and tools can be stored on that hidden row. But before we explore what all of these powerful tools can do, let's take a little side trip into the settings section here. Let's click right on it, and up at the top we've got 3 tools: the activities tool, the capture tool, and the detect tool. We'll talk about all of them a little more later. Here we'll find the primary controls. These are the tools that show up at the top of the Magnifier app. The default settings are zoom and flashlight, and they're pretty good settings, so most people should leave those as they are. But down below we've got the secondary controls, and we can add as many as we want. There are several here: the capture mode, the brightness tool, the contrast tool, the filters tool, and down below we can even add in the focus lock or the camera tool. Each of these have a very specific purpose, and we'll walk through all of them one at a time. Let's click the checkbox in the upper right hand corner and look at our tools. We can see them all in the middle row. Starting at the far left, we've got a tool called Capture Modes, which can give you different options of how you capture your documents. As we click on it, we'll see that there are 3 options. The single option, which is the default setting we used a moment ago. Next to that, we've got the multiple capture tool. This is very useful if you want to take multiple pictures of the same thing. Maybe the menu's got multiple pages and you don't want to flip around between them. I'm going to use this book as an example of using the multiple capture tool. Here we'll capture this image, but then turn to a completely different page, capture another image, and turn to yet another page and capture a 3rd image. Notice in the bottom right corner of your screen, it shows 3. When you're ready to look at the images you've captured, simply tap on that tool and you'll see each of them here. You'll be able to zoom in or out and scroll from one image to the next to see all of the different pages you've captured. When you're done with all of them and you've seen what you need to see, simply tap on your screen and click the little X down here to release the capture tool. You'll notice it saves the images in case you want to look at them again or add more images. When you're done, simply click that X and it will return the magnifier to its original position. Now there's one other capture tool to discuss, and it's this one to the far right, which is called the document capture tool. When you turn on the document capture tool, it'll do its best to find the edges of a document so it can take a perfect picture. There it is right there. If you like it, you can click confirm. If it missed one of the edges, you can use the little gray balls to orient it properly. This is going to give you a perfect image of that document, whether that document is a receipt that you want to take a closer look at, or that pesky menu that you're still trying to read. Simply confirm, and then you'll be able to zoom in and out, looking at the menu in perfect quality. Tapping on the screen will bring your controls back, allowing you to close out that capture. Don't forget to reset the document tool. Single is generally the right tool for it to be on. When you'd like to close out one of your advanced tools, simply tap on the icon on the far left and it will close it down into a simple bubble. Next up, we've got the brightness tool, which can allow you to increase or decrease the brightness of the image. This can be really helpful when you're in a dark environment or if the image you're trying to read is a little illegible and needs a little more clarity. Notice that when a tool is engaged, it shows up in yellow. If we just reset it to its actual brightness, it goes back to white, and we can tap on the icon to hide that tool. Next to that, we've got the contrast tool, and the contrast tool can be really helpful in a number of circumstances. Pulling it further to the right will make that menu or document even easier to read, clarifying the black and white elements of it and helping it to just pop. Going the other direction makes it a little bit more gray. Sometimes you're looking at a document that's got too much contrast and you may need to control it. Bringing it to the middle will turn it off, and tapping on the icon will hide it. Next to that, we've got the filter tool, and the filter tool can come in handy in a lot of circumstances. There are a ton of different filters here, from grayscale to red on black to white on blue. These are all intended to help you read the document for almost any circumstance. Sometimes a menu might be written in a bright color, or sometimes you might have a hard time seeing a document because of the colorization. So using the separate filters can allow you to invert it or change the screen to make it easier for you to read. Next to that, we've got the lock focus tool. One of the problems that happens when you're using the magnifier is that as you get close, the focus may blur and you may have a hard time seeing the image. By clicking on this lock, it will lock the focus so it doesn't switch cameras as you move your menu or document closer and farther away. This makes it much easier to make sure you can read it without having to fiddle with camera settings. And on the far right side here, we've got our camera tool. The camera tool gives you three options. The automatic option is the default, meaning it will generally pick the right camera from the back lens. If you change it to the front lens, it'll use the front lens from your camera, but that's not a super common setting. What is more common is the close-up view, because the close-up camera is the best one to use to really clearly see that document. So you can set it up so that it defaults to the close-up view rather than using auto, but most people should just leave it on auto. And there's one more hidden advanced tool that we'll talk about here before we step into the next section. Right now I have the magnifier pointed at one of my True Wisdom cards, which are cards that I've created that have awesome motivational quotes on them. If I go to capture this by clicking the capture button, I want you to notice what shows up to the right over here. There is a new tool called Reader Mode. It can pull up the words without the backdrop and without the camera. This can make it so easy for you to see that menu or that document. And if you click the play button,
everyone has oceans to fly if they have the heart to do it. Is it reckless? Maybe. But what do dreams know of boundaries? Amelia Earhart?
There's additional tools under the three dots right here that can allow you to hide the audio controls or customize the reader with different colors, different styles, and different fonts. That means it's so much easier than ever before for you to read a document no matter how tiny the print is. So now that you know about all of the advanced tools, let's talk about this little activities button right here. One of the nice things about the Magnifier app is that it's got all of these tools and all of this customization. But one of the problems is that there are very specific circumstances for the Magnifier app. I might be looking at a menu, or I might be looking at a receipt, or I might be looking at a book with really small font, or maybe you need to use it for something like finding the serial number off of an Apple product. If you've ever had to look for a serial number on one of your Apple devices, you know that they put that in the smallest print possible. And I need that serial number for some of the work that I do. So having the magnifier like this can allow me to zoom right in and find that serial number easily. But each of these different situations have different requirements. For the serial number, I'm going to need to turn the brightness up a little bit. And I'm also going to need to turn the contrast up a little bit. That's going to allow me to capture an image and take that image and pull the serial number right off easily and simply. But I have to use the brightness and the contrast to make that possible. So do I have to set up the magnifier separately each time I change its purpose? Nope. That's what the activities button is for. Let's set up an activity. By clicking on the Activities button, we're going to see different options. I've already created an activity for the documents I tend to look at, but now let's do one specifically for the serial numbers. By clicking Save as New Activity right here, I can give it any name I want, like SN, and then I can give it any icon I want, like that computer right there. And then I click the check button and it's now saved all of my settings. It saved the brightness, it saved the contrast, it saved what tools I have available on this screen. So as I make changes, turning on the flashlight or turning on the focus lock or any of the other tools that I need, I can click on the Activities button and I can update that activity with the new settings. So now when I change activities and I need to do something different, like looking at a receipt, I can click on my Activities button here and go right to my Documents settings, which will not only change the settings, but it will capture the receipt for me because I've got it turned on to the Documents setting. Just like that, I'm already done with this. I can click Confirm. I've got that receipt, easy for me to see and easy for me to look at. When I'm done and I need to do something else, I can just come back to the activities and create a new activity, or choose the No Activity section, which clears all of your settings and puts the Magnifier app back into the default mode. So now let's quickly create one more activity specifically for menus. For this, we're going to increase the zoom a little bit. Make sure that it is set on single instead of document. Turn the brightness up a little bit because those fancy restaurants apparently can't afford lights. Turn the contrast up a little bit to make it easier for us to see things. And we're even going to come into the filter here and grab one of these inverted filters, which will make it much easier for us to see what we're looking at. And now that we've got all of those things set, let's click the Activities button, save as New Activity, call it Menu, and grab that fork and knife right there. Click the checkbox and we are all done. Activities allow you to customize your magnifier for different purposes and have those settings saved for the next time you need to look at a receipt, a document, or this fancy menu. And you can always edit your activities by coming into the settings section here and clicking where it shows activities. This will give you an option to swipe and delete any activities you don't need, or duplicate one that's perfect and you want to use it for a different purpose. And now we've made it so much easier for you to read any document, no matter how small the print is. So as you can see, the Magnifier app is chock full of powerful tools that make it so much easier to read that tiny fine print. But there's still one more thing we need to talk about. Before I drop my MacWhisperer power tip, if you already got great value from this video and you're thinking about how much money I'm going to save you in optometrist bills, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. That makes it so much easier for other people to find it and save their eyesight as well. And if you've got a question, a comment, some tool I didn't talk about, or a use for the magnifier that I didn't think of, drop it into the comments section. I love to hear from you guys, and I can't wait to hear how you're going to use this amazing app. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, let's put our old man reading glasses on and zoom in on that subscribe button. Click it and click that notify bell so you're always alerted whenever I drop new content. And with that being said, let's zoom in to the power tip. With all of the phenomenal tools that we've already talked about in this app, you're probably wondering to yourself, Dylan, what else could they have possibly crammed into this app? And you're right to wonder, because the tool they crammed in is called Detect Mode, and it's super cool and super valuable. Here's how you set it up. Start by clicking on the Settings button here, and then come to where it says Detect. And make sure it's set to show in your control panel. Now at the bottom, we've got this new tool called Detect. Press and hold on it to show you what it can do. Detect has several different options. The first one is an option called Scenes, and Scenes will describe what the camera sees as you walk around. If you have bad sight or even are going blind, this can be a game changer. As you point it around, it'll show you whatever it sees, like the cat, the couch, my wife, or the kitchen table. If you use the People setting, it can tell you when other people are nearby and how far away they are. If you use the Furniture, it'll tell you exactly where the furniture is in front of you. Again, if you're hard of seeing, or it's a super dark room or a super dark fancy restaurant, this will keep you from embarrassing yourself and tripping over a chair. You can also use it to help you find doors and exits, and it can even tell you whether it's a push or a pull or a turn door, making it really easy for you to get out of that restaurant as fast as you can. And down below here, we have the two pieces I want to talk to you most about. The first one is called Detect Text. And it's cool, we'll talk about it in a second, but we're going to start with the Point and Select tool. When you have the Point and Select tool checked like I do, it does amazing things. Once you've got it set up, just tap the Detect tool to turn it on. And now, I'm going to point at one of the items on this menu and let it read it out loud
Chicken
to us.
Parmesan.
Just like
Chicken breast topped with marinara sauce and mee, spinach and artichoke dip $6.39.
And that simply, you don't even need to read your menu at all. If you've got AirPods in, it'll speak into your ear and make it that much easier for you to see anything on that menu or anything that you can't read. And if you come into the Detect mode and turn on the text setting, it will read what it sees out to you in its entirety, just like this.
You've tried managing your time. You've tried prioritizing your time. Now discover how to multiply it. You feel like you're busier than ever yet never caught up? You will win success in whatever you adopt. A father's love is the compass by which his children learn to navigate, to sail, and to reach their dreams.
And just like that, reading small fonts can be a thing of the past. So that's what we've got for today's video, all about how to use the Magnifier app to make it easier to see menus, receipts, documents, pretty much anything. I hope you learned a lot today, but remember, there's always more to learn. And don't forget to stop by the description and grab your free smart guide so you can follow along with this lesson anytime you need to revisit it. I'm Dylan Stewart, the Mac Whisperer, and I will see you in that fancy restaurant. I'll be the one that can read his menu.